We're here at the New York International Auto Show. Steve Strauss, the curator of the Saratoga Auto Museum, is here.
Absolutely.
And Steve, we've got 3 great rally cars to talk about as part of your RADwood exhibit. The 1990 Nissan Pulsar GTR, I guess, is the holy grail for Nissan enthusiasts.
Really
this was a Group A car?
It was a Group A car that did pretty well. They made very, very few examples of this. This is one of 21 cars. This was actually owned by the CEO, the former CEO of Nismo itself. This was also kind of a catalog car in a sense that it was every available Nismo option in the year. This car itself was actually in the catalog.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a perfect example of period-correct Nismo greatness, old badge Nismo everywhere in this car. We even actually have the CEO's Nismo jacket in the car with it, which is arguably as cool as the car. So
that is arguably as cool as the car.
Yeah.
Now, for something completely different, of course.
Exactly.
We have a Group B car, the Citroen Bx. This is probably one of the least successful Group B cars out there.
Yeah, and pretty poorly timed, too. Not only did it do very poorly and hardly ever finish, thanks to Citroen's famous hydraulic suspension always failing, Group B was actually ended only races into this car's existence. So just a bad example of rushing something to market and bad timing, unfortunately. But
I mean, is it true that this thing was so unreliable that Citroen actually bought back most of the examples to crush?
That's exactly what happened. So to find a road car version of which I think is even cooler than the rally car, these big box flares are the most 80s thing in the world. To find one in this good of shape, all original, on the road, it's really one in a lifetime to see.
I mean, a BX 4TC is a rare thing. Obviously, to see it in this condition is really amazing. A little more successful, of course, is the Ford RS200. You know, Tony Southgate, who is one of racing's greatest engineers, had a great hand in the chassis development of this car.
Right.
Mid-engine at a time when almost everything else in Group B was front-engine.
Exactly, yeah. And I think this car is almost as influential in Group B racing as Audi was with the Quattro system, where this car was so dominant and so ahead of its time. It really put Ford on the map as far as Group B racing goes. It's something they still enjoy today. They still see a lot of success because of it.
You know, and even though in Group B the victories weren't perhaps as frequent as Audi's.
Sure.
Certainly the mid-engine design.
Yeah.
I guess Lancia with their Delta actually had a mid-engine car too. Right. But this really kind of set the standard for what would come later.
Exactly.
And you're right, it did put Ford on the map.
Yeah, and anything that you can get with 4 cylinders and 600 horsepower going to the rear wheels. I mean, the thing, when this drove in here, the entire convention center stopped and came over to see what it was. It's a sound like you've never heard before, and it looks like something you've never seen before. It's such a rare car to see. And again, an original Ford livery, unnumbered from the factory. You can't beat that. So.
And this is an Evolution model, right? This is one of, what, 23 or so?
One of 23 or 24, yeah. So they did about 200 cars total, the Evolution being the even rarer of that of 23 or 24 models.
And they came at the very end, right?
The very, very end. They're the last cars they built, yeah. So this one is impeccable. It's absolutely perfect, and we're very happy to have it here on display.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Yeah.